All right, folks, picture this. You found the perfect home. It's going to hitting every single checkbox, but you don't know how are you going to buy this property and not either have two mortgages or you never sell your home at all. But what I'm going to tell you, folks, is 70% of the folks that we work with and 70% of America in general has a home to sell before they get into the next one. So how do you strategically do this so that essentially you're not double paying for two homes at once, as well as you're not out of house and home, displacing your family, and you're never able to purchase anything. The good news is this, folks. There's a couple things that I just want to go over with you. Not only what you can do, not only to be very strategic about it, but two, so you can get into the home you want. I will tell you right now is one of the absolute best times that you can actually buy a property and sell your home. Why? In the Wasatch Front in general, folks, we've had roughly kind of a ranging amount of roughly 10% inventory higher than this time last year. Why is that great for you? It's because it gives you the opportunity to look at more homes. You know, a lot of folks have said, look, I'm gonna just hold off. I'm not gonna make a change. You know, I'm just gonna wait till prices change and values change, and then I'm gonna make a move. The biggest great thing about that is great. Your property value goes up. Well, the home you sell in and is the market you buy in. So the home you're going to buy is going to be equally the same. The difference is in a stronger market, we typically have less inventory. So even though you're paying a higher price for that next property, you don't have as many options in the market. So I will just tell you, as of today, that is one of your best things you can do is shop in today's market because there is more available properties to shop for the lifestyle change you're looking for. But the top things to consider is, number one, we can always do a contingency. A contingency basically says, look, I am making my property offer contingent upon my home selling. Now, in a competitive market, that maybe not be the absolute best strategy because they're also running into that same issue. If your home doesn't sell, we as the seller now can't get into our next home, okay? So a contingency clause will work, but know that it may have a little bit of baggage to the offer, a little bit of weight to that seller to have to absorb, and we have to just make sure that that's something to consider in writing a contingent offer, okay? Another option that I want you folks to consider, okay, that if I'm end up looking at the market, I can look at a bridge loan or an asset-based loan. Now, what you could do is essentially get somebody that's bridging the gap. You know, they're providing that information, they're providing that income of what you would need as a down payment until that property sells. Now, there's different companies that provide bridge loans, different lenders. I mean, I've even done bridge loans working with certain clients where we've bridged the gap in order that they could get into that home. But if we're not looking at bridge loans, that's something that we kind of don't want to evaluate. Let's consider some different assets that we have, okay? So for example, we have 401ks, we have stocks, we have different assets that we hold, okay? You can essentially borrow against those assets or find out if you have a massive portfolio, you may be able to say, hey, I want to end up borrowing against a credit line from you in order that I can get into this. That way you don't have to sell the stock, but you can use the credit line they provide you in order to get into the next home. 401k, you can essentially borrow against that 401k. The interest you pay typically goes back into that 401k. And again, check with your financial planner and double check that's an option. Or another option would be a home equity line of credit. So you essentially are using the equity in your home to essentially be as the down payment for the next home. So just think, your current assets that you hold, is there something you could possibly borrow against? The equity in your home, your 401k, your stock portfolio, if it's strong enough, could you borrow against it? And could you essentially use that short term, not long term, in order to get in the next home to give yourself the time to properly sell your home? Okay. And then the last thing that I just wanted to mention, I kind of wrote down here is, and this isn't for everybody, folks, but it's a cash option on your property. You know, we have people reach out all the time where they're wanting a cash offer on their property in order to get into the next home. You know, essentially sell before you buy. And that may be an option, but it may not get you the price It's getting you the terms that you want, but it's maybe not getting the price that you want. So I don't think that works for everybody. I do think that it's an option and it's something to consider, but just know that those are why some of those options are available to you. And then finally, last thing I want you to just consider is selling with a leaseback option. Meaning, I'm gonna sell my home and then I'm gonna build a contingency in there that I'm gonna lease back from you. You know, we recently had a property here in Holladay that we sold. These folks had lived there for a long time. And the folks had lived in that home, and we had built an offer around where people knew they needed to stay in there X amount of time. Literally on this one, it was like 3 months. Just so you know, there's some things to work through on that, especially with specific buyers and the type of loan programs and the timing they have to get into the home. But in this specific buyer, we built in a lease back agreement that allowed them the ability to lease that home so that they could essentially have it sold and be able to have time to move into the next one. Now, is there some issues that a certain buyers will have with that? Yeah, they may need to move in immediately. They may have a loan program where on a conventional loan, they have to move into that property within 60 days. That's the window just to be aware of on a conventional buyer. This buyer wasn't a conventional buyer, and they were okay with a longer time frame. But either way, just like most people, if you are looking for a lifestyle change or you've been shopping the market, looking at like, how do I do this without having double mortgage payments, not having to sit on my home, and not getting the lifestyle I change that I'm looking for, reach out to us today. Let me go over the options with you and maybe something that would work. Number one, what your home would sell for. Two, how we could construct this so that the dominoes fall in a way to get you successfully to the next place. But what I'll tell you folks is over 3/4 of the families we work with, they're in your exact same scenario. So if you're looking for a lifestyle change, you're looking to kind of, whether it be upgrade, you're looking to kind of get into something that's maybe just not so big, simplify kind of your square footage and size and lot size, guess what? You're in good hands. Call us today. I'm happy to help you out. But if you have any questions along the way, we're an open book. We're going to assist you, and we look forward to serving you. Thank you. Talk to you soon, and hope to connect with you.